speaking of old people, it could have been an uncle, somebody in the neighborhood, a family friend, hell, even a member of your immediate family. You know, the old dude that was always working on a car that he never fixed. You know, had the cigarette hanging from his mouth. He was the mechanic, gave you a good deal, but he always had that one car that was on them blocks that he was working on that never got fixed. I bring that up because some cars just can't be fixed. I think the NBA AllStar Game might be a car that can't be fixed. That it just might be antiquated at this point. Your report was awesome about Larry Bird, Dr. J, and Andre Iguodala walking into the locker room, and I don't think you use this word, but I'm going to use it for effect, imploring the players to compete, and it falling on deaf ears. And Mike and I talked about it on Monday. I just think I don't think we're ever going to get back to what it was. I think it's just a different day. I think it's had its time. I don't think there is a solution. I see polls all the time, which is probably more about engagement than anything. How do you fix the All-Star Game? Shit, I was talking about a one-on-one tournament years ago as like just trying to go extreme ways of like doing something different. Like, I just don't know, given the way the game is played and given the problems that the league has had or thinks it has had, and then the policies that have been put in place to encourage or legislate regular season participation, I don't know that even with money, you can get players to play hard in an exhibition game. But on the other hand, I know these were regular season games dressed up as something else. We just saw a successful in-season tournament. So, Vinny, I know you had your ear to the street. I'm sure you've been talking to people. You were in Indy. Would love to know what it was like, you being in the building, and just your thoughts on, first, whether this can be fixed, and if so, how, either from your vantage point or the people around the league that you're talking to all the time.
You know, call me in the minority. I think it can be fixed, but I don't think it's a matter of, you know, one-on-one tournaments and everything else. Look, you can have a one-on-one tournament. You can have all the bells and whistles. But if the dudes don't give a damn, it doesn't matter what you do as far as a format. There's nothing you can do to juice something up if the players are intentional. You have to try hard to not play hard. You know what I mean? You have to try really, really hard to not play hard. I'm serious.
That's a good bar.
And for me,
they got to go out of their way.
Yeah, you got to go out of your way. And the thing for me is this:
it's almost like
I look at the players. Boom. I look at the Players Association, and these players have branded themselves as businessmen and individual corporations for a long time. Right? They'll be the first to tell you, "I'm my own brand. I'm my own corporation," and all that. And they don't act like they have a business mind when it comes to this. They are in the middle. The NBA is in the middle of a media rights negotiation. All-Star Weekend is a huge part for all of those brands to come together. It is the second biggest output single event next to the NBA playoffs as far as a ratings and sponsorship standpoint. So you should know, if you're a businessman, you should know how important it is. To me, guys, it speaks to a level of, it feels like there's a resentment. It feels like it's how dare you make me play hard? Or I should be more incentivized to play hard. The in-season tournament is baked into the regular season. And because it was $1 million a player, players are going to go extra hard because of the guys at the end of the bench, their teammates that they're going to practice with and playing with every day who don't make that much money. You can't incentivize all-stars, or bribe them rather, when they're making $40+ million already. And you show them, and look, resentment. I think in the social media world, where there's Instagram and Twitter and all these ways for fans to come at players directly, they see all the things that people say, right? So you look at the dunk contest, where the stars don't want to go on the dunk contest. It's because they're worried about what Twitter bot is going to say. They're worried about being ridiculed by nameless, faceless person. So you translate that to the All-Star Game, and it's how dare you, who ridicules me and all you do is talk about how I can't win a ring and how my game ain't this or that. How dare you ask me to play? And then secondarily, and here's the other part, guys, and this is what I really want to get to. The Players Association, up until 2011, the Players Association, they got 57% of basketball-related income. 57%. Now it's at 50-50. The numbers, the salaries have risen, but they haven't made the games. You just got out of a CBA where I don't know what your gains were. So while the salaries have risen and guys are making an exorbitant amount of money, I'm wondering if there's a disconnect from the equity that's been put in by the players of previous generations that these guys are cashing in on, and they're not actually investing and putting anything into. That would be the disappointing thing for me, because all those guys, by and large, unless you're the international players, you grew up wanting to play in the AllStar Game. When these guys don't make the AllStar Game, they bitch and moan about how someone's doing them wrong, and then when they show up for the AllStar Game, they put a piss poor effort out there like that. So to me, it's a lack of respect for what's been laid before them, and also a lack of consideration for the future that they're going to leave behind.
So they don't want to play in the All-Star Game. Like, they don't want to play in the game. They don't want to play in the game. They want to be a part of the weekend.
They want to be a part of the party. Yeah.
They want to be a part of the weekend.
And part of it is there's an exhaustion too, and this is why I give the players a little bit of grace, because there's all these sponsorships, there's all these Nike activations and things that they have to do that probably come Sunday. They're pulling a lot of different directions. There's probably a level of mental exhaustion and get me out of here. But miss me, y'all, with the whole I don't want to get hurt. Because you remember the last time a player got hurt at the All-Star Game? Because I don't.
Right. Well, the other part, the resentment thing, it's like, and it sounds like you know what I was only thinking. Michael, we talked about this on Monday. It's like, does the All-Star, does the honor of and the recognition, even though, like you said, they bitch and complain when they're not, and there are oftentimes contractual implications for being named an All-Star, you forever introduced for the rest of your days as former NBA All-Star such and such. Like, does it not mean what it once did? Because, like, the opposite of resentment and almost like this protest type attitude is like, yo, it's just an honor and a privilege to be here. Is that not the case anymore with this current iteration of players? Because they seem to all appreciate being there until the ball is tipped in the air.
I don't know what matters to guys anymore. And I'm not like being funny about it, seriously. I don't know what matters. And I wrote about it Sunday night. Because remember, it was almost like a graduation level thing where, you know, maybe young guys would go into the dunk contest and then they would graduate to sitting in the suits on Saturday night and jumping up and down during the dunk contest and three-point contest and being really active and engaged and involved. Now these dudes too cool to cheer. They too cool to even stand up for their peers who are out there and get excited. So to me, it's like they're not understanding or appreciating the fact that you have to push this forward. Because if I'm a fan and I spend my money there, or if I'm a fan and I want to view this, if you guys don't get excited, if you guys don't act like this is a big deal, why should
watching TV? If y'all ain't interested or having fun, we ain't watching you.
Yeah,
100%. No, and they owe it to the game. But like, and I also don't want to generalize though, Mike, because like Halliburton was having fun, Cat was having fun dropping 31 in the fourth quarter. Dame, it mattered to Dame. And he looked like he appreciated being All-Star MVP, which goes on everybody's Hall of Fame
when the ball's in your hands.
But
it matters when the ball's in your hands.
But it's what Benny said. It's like you don't know what matters to guys. Not to say it didn't matter to all those guys. It's what matters to you. So Dame came out and said, Dame was like, hey, well, I'm going to try to win the MVP. Why not? And I'm sure Halliburton was thinking the same thing. And other guys go out and say, I'm going to prove myself because I was named to this team late, and I'm going to show that I belong. And so you have all these competing agendas and these thoughts, and then just turns into a mess. And that's what it was.
But Vinny, you said it matters when the ball is in your hands. Say more, please.
No, it matters because you want to shoot and score. Like showing that that an All-Star game and competing matters. That's talking about defending. That's talking about literally looking the guy in the face and saying, hey, you're not going to score on me. And I think it filters down from not just this level, it filters down to other levels of basketball, where you hear college coaches all the time. You hear Penny Hardaway the other day, coach of Memphis, talking about, hey, our guys didn't compete. And I think it comes down to this highlight culture era that we're in now, where guys don't want to get dunked on. Guys don't want to get crossed over. And the way that those things happen is because you're in a defensive stance and a guy gets you. And you can't just say, you know what, you got me, I'm going to go and get you back. It's, you know what, I don't want to be on that Summer Jam screen. So to me, an All-Star game from 10 years. Remember, guys, this is not that long ago. Remember the All-Star game in 2012 in Orlando, where LeBron was yet to win a championship. Dwayne Wade broke Kobe Bryant's nose on a physical play. And in the last play of the game, LeBron would not take the final shot. And he tried to pass a roast court pass to Carmelo. And he got roasted, not just on social media.
It was Kobe,
he got roasted by
Carmelo.
Kobe Bryant in the moment in a competitive game. Like, take the shot. So that's not that long ago. And these guys are just pissing on that.
Well, we need a good old-fashioned freeze out. But speaking of social media, I want to tie this into TikTok.
Which happened in Indianapolis.
No, but what I do remember, though, what I do think, though, to your point about like just the highlight culture or what have you, you saw on TikTok, it got some attention, Steph changed his TikTok bio to did not, in fact, ruin the game. I do think, though, a lot of the all-star struggles have to do with the proliferation of three-point shooting. I think it's just so many threes and deep threes that aesthetically and stylistically, the type of competitiveness that we're talking about in an all-star atmosphere goes out the window because everybody's shooting threes. Everybody wants to shoot threes. And for the most part, like what was funny was watching Kawhi Leonard, for example, or even Nikola Jokic, who are good three-point shooters, but not exceptional three-point shooters. They looked out of place. They looked like they didn't belong on the court. Like, Luka Doncic, like, again, all good three-point shooters, but not up there. They looked out of place. It's like three-point shooting. I don't believe, by the way, no, Steph, you did not ruin basketball. You elevated it. You took it to another place that we had, where no man has gone before. We didn't know we could even get there. I would think my guys agree with me on that. The Steph has been nothing but great for the game. But the three-point shooting, I think, has evolved the all-star game away from what we would like it for it to be again. Because back in the day, they just weren't shooting threes to this level and to this volume, Vinny. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think you can tie a direct line between regular season basketball and the All-Star Game, and a couple of league officials bristled at that when I brought that up. But guys are shooting, like you said, deeper and deeper than ever. And look, there's only one Steph Curry, and there are some, shall we say, imposters who believe that they are Steph Curry. But it's only one of those dudes. Just like people would say Michael Jordan ruined basketball and they created a bunch of, fake baby Jordans and all that type of stuff because everybody was bald-headed and could dunk or whatever. We tried to put that on them. But it's okay to let that guy be special. And I don't like NBA games where teams are shooting 50 threes and you can't put your hands on someone and you can't really defend. I think that filters down to the All-Star game where you're taking like 160 threes or whatever it was. It's out of control. It's ridiculous. And to me, it's a lack of variety in the game. And it shows itself at a game like the All-Star game. When Steph is on the heater, I want to see Steph shooting. I don't want to see all these other dudes shooting. Sit your ass down. Get your big ass in the post.
Right. Was there any post up in this? Hey, Mike, did you have anything on that before we got to our last topic?
No.
Okay. Last thing, and I would say, again, Steph, been great for basketball. Love the sarcasm. I can't imagine anybody at this point would say Steph. I know at one point it's like, oh, he ruined basketball. I was like, okay. We got a little carried away with blaming Steph for these kids trying to be Steph, like you said, Benny. Steph is unequivocally one of the faces of the NBA.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.